So welcome to session 11, which contains a number of slides. And basically, we want to continue the ideas of Max Weber. But this time around, we focus mainly on his bureaucracy and see how bureaucracy becomes an aspect of modernity and also the whole rationalization process. I have in the slides here authority patterns, but we just talk about that so we can move straight to the bureaucracy. Now, bureaucracy is an ideal concept. Now, if you look at the modern world today, you realize that it's full of organizations here and there. It can be the university organization, the hospital organization, the banking organization, a factory organization, and all that. These are, in a way, bureaucracies. I know sometimes in everyday language you say bureaucracy connotes delays in official processing of documents and things like that. Well, there are reasons why bureaucracies appear so. But bureaucracies are the symbol, the visible signs of rationalization of society. Because modern societies have organizations. So a sociologist once said, whoever says modernity must say organization. So all around us in the modern society, organizations are there. And so from the cradle to the grave, you are likely to live in an organization. From birth to death, you're going to pass through organization, in the sense that you are likely to be born in the hospital, which is an organization. You come to your crèche or KG, kindergarten, it's a small organization. You come to school, it's a small organization. You come to basic, tertiary, university, it's an organization. You go and work in an organization. When you get pensioned, you stay at home. Maybe you can even form a small organization, be pensionist. And some of us will die in the hospital, back to organization. So the whole modern world is circumscribed by organizations. Now, organizations are structures which bring people on a large scale to pursue one objective. Okay, organizations are structures through which people are congregated in a particular place and they are undertaking an objective. For example, we are all in the university system here. Lecturers, students, workers, and all that. This organization has brought all of us together, but we are pursuing what goal? Educating students, giving them a certificate. Just is that. Or in a hospital, so many people are there, but what are they doing? They are restoring health. They are rendering health facilities to all of us, services. In the banking organization, they are doing for financial services to the population. So organizations bring people together on a large scale to pursue some objective. Now, these organizations, they may differ in whatever they are doing, but we use the term bureaucracy to refer to all of them, irrespective of whatever they are doing. Because we want to have a certain concept that captures all. And that is one interesting thing about bureaucracy. So when you learn about the features of bureaucracy, we are trying to teach you certain repetitive patterns that you find throughout all organizations. So those features are, for example, hierarchy of offices. Everywhere you go in an organization, there's a hierarchy of offices. There's division of labor. Okay, so you cannot say you are in the legal department, therefore you are moving to accounting department. No, everybody has a small sphere of operation. Rules are defining our offices. The reward system is not equal. So the manager will take more than the cleaner. And it's everywhere like that. In organizations, things are done in a written form. You don't call somebody and then he will act on it. Everything must be documented because organizations outlive human beings. They are permanent solutions that we give to how to order modern society. So if you leave office and somebody enters the office, there are files, there's continuity. You can't say you are new. You have to familiarize yourself immediately. Okay, that is why in the university, for example, when you attend university, they say fill a file, a form is on your file, or they create a file for you, where you are coming from, which school you attended, who are your parents and all that. And then they keep a file on you. It's a requirement. You may one day lose even your certificates. Maybe fire will break out somewhere, or tsunami, flooding will come. You need certificates. But they have records on you. They can always give you something. So these organizations actually are meant to outlive us, but they must show institutional ways of doing things. And that is why in organization, it is illegal for people to meet and not take minutes. No. In organization, everybody has his own sphere. The way you act are specified. So you don't go and sign checks when it is not your duty to sign checks. It's illegal. You know, sometimes our leaders run into trouble. They will say somebody is not there and then the boss sign a check. Legally, the system is rational. The system is designed in such a way that it must operate in fairness to everybody. So in a workplace, for example, when you sign a contract with your manager or your boss that you are employee, the contract specifies what you can do and what you cannot do. The time you should report to work, the time you should leave. You don't just wake up one day and sleep and you don't come to work. You can be sanctioned because you disorganize the person's work schedule. So those things are mandatory, and your boss has no right to fire you without giving you reason or even giving you time. Just as how you must also not just mess up his job, he must also not mess up your life. So you see that the rationality we are talking here is showing so much in the work of bureaucracy. So the whole bureaucratic institution, I see, is a manifestation of rationalization in the modern world. So you read more about the features. Communication must be up and down in a bureaucratic organization. People who occupy position must come as a result of merit. So we are no longer going to tolerate features of traditionalism that, oh, somebody brings you and say, oh, you know, he's the son or the daughter of Asante Hini, so we should get a job. No. So in a modern society, we want a rational system, a system that must deliver. So that's why I talk about the features of bureaucracy, that merit is the basis for office. Okay. So there are other features as well, which I'm sure you read. I haven't given you all. But basically, the features are to make for a rational operation of the organization. So the features are supposed to make for a rational operation of the organization. Now, because bureaucracies and rationality is going to dominate the modern society, Weber was thinking that that's the only solution to running modern societies. So when they asked him, do you think we can do without bureaucracy? He said no. His answer was a resounding no. Modern society are bureaucratic. They are rational. So his thinking is that that's the most efficient way to organize people on a large scale. So you see that the things we are doing in modern Ghana now is all about organizations, rationality, and the laws we make, they are all rational. We are supposed to put up rational behavior. Organizations define how we can behave. the kind of action we can take. So you are not just a boss and you kick somebody out of employment. No, there must be a rational basis for that, because your office was defined rationally by legal acts. So bureaucracies are with us, and they come with modernity. Now, Weber feared that the world becomes so rational in every aspect of our life that the rationality will kill us. Yes, it will kill us. Because you see, gone were traditional ways of doing things. The modern ways must come. The rational ways must come. So sometimes, because we want to insist on rationalization, rationality in every aspect, our spirits get killed. We get problem because, you see, sometimes we want things to be done in traditional ways or in some value-oriented ways. For example, you go to hospital, and then this is where some people don't understand it. You go to hospital, maybe you are seriously ill, and you think within one day or some few hours, or your people think within some few hours, you may lose your life. But you see, you go to hospital, and the officials are insisting, have you made a card? Have you paid this? Have you done this? You see, we expect affectivity. We expect our lives to be valued so that some of the processes could be jumped. Then the officials say, no, we don't do things like this. We don't do like this. And by the time you are aware, somebody loses his or her life. How can you be happy with the people who are there doing this? This is the disenchantment we will have with modernity. Rationalization will reach a point where even it begins to crush us. So Weber's argument is that because we want to do things bureaucratically in a very rational way, we will not pay attention to these details, these traditional, sympathetic ways of doing things. So that rationality will seem to be killing us rather. We have created a world that is rational, supposed to be operating on rationalization, rational basis. But it is tending to kill us. This is the problem of modernity for Max Weber, that the modern person will come to live in what he calls the iron cage of rationality, so that he cannot free himself. You know, an iron cage of rationality. You know how you cage birds, you sell birds on the streets. You have caged the bird and you are selling it. But this one is an iron cage of rationality that we will come and live in, so that you see a situation where we are not free. The system we've created will come to be destroying our happiness. So he says there's a disenchantment with modernity. People become disenchanted and happy about modernity. That explains why you put an application somewhere, or you are chasing your grades at the university, they say, write a letter. They'll forward it here. Maybe one whole semester they've not responded to you. But then the whole process is in, the whole letter or request is lost in the process. And you'll be somewhere and say, this system, it's not fair. Because you think just by reporting your issue, it should be dealt with immediately. But no. That is why bureaucracies end the concept or the meaning that delays and all that, you see. So this is why things don't get done fast. But because bureaucracies also require that those who work in them abide by the rules. They abide by the rules of what define bureaucracy. So the people enter bureaucratic organizations, they want career. They want to progress in the bureaucracy. Move from maybe accountant to another level, or to become the final manager or director or VC. So they must seem to be behaving according to the rules that define their offices, so that everybody is paying attention to rules. And so in the process, we are rule followers rather than end result. So we forget the end that we want to attain. So we have this frustration in the system that people complain that, oh, this organization, they are not fast, they are not that. But these are the fears Max Weber had, that rationalization will reach a certain state that even the modern person is not going to be happy. Unlike in traditional times when things happen spontaneously, people do things for you quickly. But here, they will say, no, I'm sorry, the rule says this, so I can't bend the rules. So these are the features of bureaucracy and what bureaucracy can do to us, which is the iron cage of rationality we come and live in, and how our spirit, our happiness will be crushed by rationalization and all that. Now, bureaucracies have a number of advantages. Because bureaucracies are based on rules, rational rules. They are fair, to a great extent, they are fair to how they deal with people. Bureaucracies expect us to be treated fairly, because even the bureaucrats, the people working in organizations, are supposed to be impersonal. They should treat all of us equally. They shouldn't treat people because of power or position and all that. So, for example, you can see why people are likely to fight in the banking hall just because they were in a queue. Then somebody walks in and he looks like a big man, and then he jumps the queue. Bureaucracies don't accept that. Bureaucracies will accept first come, first serve. Okay? So that everybody is treated equally. Now, you see that in many well-developed or modern societies, bureaucracies are able to work better in developing societies. We hear that people have favoritism. People experience favoritism. People are discriminated against. People are occupying positions in organizations that they are not qualified for. You go for interview, maybe you are the first class student, but somebody with a second class lower gets the job. Somebody brings somebody by hand to take the job. You know, we cry against all this. It is not that the people individually are wicked. Sociologists don't explain behavior from the individual point of view. These things happen in Ghana here. Sometimes you don't get a job because you don't know somebody. These things happen because we haven't entered the modern society fully. And so these traditional values, traditional expectations are still bogging us down. So that when we enter a bureaucracy, we think, oh, once you are there, somebody should be giving admission. The people from your village should be giving admission. Or your niece should get a job with you. So you see that we don't run bureaucracies as Weber says it, as Weber describes it. So then bureaucracy becomes an ideal concept for us. Our behavior, our environment, tradition keep bogging the bureaucracy down. So we see that our bureaucracies don't work as they are described on paper. There's corruption, nepotism, favoritism, and all that. So in the long run, whereas Weber said positions should be based on merit, we see positions not based on merit. We bring people in from our background. Sometimes because the person was brought to the bureaucracy by a big man, the officers under whom he or she is working, they cannot discipline. So you see that you have a bureaucracy, but it is not functioning well. And this is the tragedy of many African societies. So there are formal ways of doing things specified on paper, but there are informal ways of doing things. So, for example, they say today is the deadline for papers, some applications will be submitted. Then, because you know somebody in the organization, oh, bring it on Monday, I'll smuggle it in. This is all bad. So, bureaucracies have advantages, but they also have disadvantages. Then there are limitations. Our socio-cultural system puts so much pressure on the bureaucracy that it doesn't deliver well. You see, all these political positions that we are getting, sometimes people get it not because of merit. It's just because either they have founded the party or they are no friendship network. So it's like we can have square pegs in round holes. Now, there is another concept associated with bureaucracies of organization, that is informal organizations. Informal organizations exist within formal organizations everywhere you go. The informal organizations may exist at the University of Ghana, they may exist at the banking institutions, everywhere, formal organizations. They are formal because they are designed in a formal way, but people have a way to develop networks, to cut corners, to do things. So let's say we are all supposed to apply for passports. We fill the form. But you see, sometimes they say, oh, if you don't go and see this person, then there are some people who are working in the passport office who have developed their informal ways of doing things. So I can submit passport, they say, okay, it will take 2 weeks. 4 weeks, it hasn't come. But somebody submits the same day like me, 3 days, he's holding his passport. These are informal organizations which are existing within the formal organization called the Passport Directorate or whatever we call it. So if you are a leader of an organization, you must know that there are informal organizations within the organization. And either you look for them so that you use them to work well, or you make sure that they don't frustrate the overall organizational goals. So these are a very important concept associated with bureaucracies. So bureaucracies are everywhere with us. They have certain advantages, but they have disadvantages as well. And then informal organizations are within them. So we'll end here and move on to the next session.